Oliver, it appears that Manchester City are stepping up their interest in trying to sign Marc in this transfer window. What's your latest understanding?
My latest understanding that a deal with Marc is in the final stages. I can't confirm a club because it's still not done, but in the final stages, and the result is that Marc doesn't play tomorrow for us.
And how do you feel about losing your captain at this stage of the season?
I mentioned it a few weeks ago when I was pretty clear that let's say every player, and depending on his contract situation, there is a price where a club says we want to do it, and when the player says I want to move on, a deal will happen, and it looks like that this happened now, and that's why yes, of course, from talking about sports, but nobody in the team will tell you something different. Different is everybody wanted Marc to stay forever. Crystal Palace captain and playing here, but reality is different.
Have you spoken to Marc? How does he feel about potentially departing a football club where he's had so much success and he's been such a key figure for the club?
Oh yes, I had a talk to him, but of course it stays between us, what we are talking. But I think Marc has shown it in the summer transfer window, has shown it the whole autumn season so far, that he was 100% committed to the team, to Crystal Palace, and of course I wish him all the best for the rest of his career, and he will have a great career. I think he's still at the beginning of his great career, and he will have a great future because he's a fantastic player and a fantastic guy.
Does it feel like a sensible move for the football club, considering he wasn't going to sign a new contract, and for a club like Crystal Palace to lose a player like Marc Guehi for free would potentially be a problem?
I think this is what, for every club, is a problem if you lose a player for free, but that's the situation. I think on the other side, also the clubs are responsible for the situations because they are paying quite high signing fees for free players. So I think every club has signed a free player. And then, you can't point with your finger on other clubs and you do the same. So I think that's just the football business where we are in. And this is what we have to accept. And if you can't find an agreement for a new deal, these things happen. Yeah, but of course, every team wants to avoid this.
Have you had any assurances that you'll be able to find a replacement? Because clearly there is enough time to find a replacement in this transfer window.
Yeah, we have to find, and let's see.
How have the players reacted to the fact their captain's departing mid-season?
It was for all of us surprisingly this morning, and we had a meeting, a normal match day meeting. I told the players, yes, we're a little bit surprised, but on the other side, I told them, we sold Michael Olise, and it was the best season in Crystal Palace history, and we lost Eberechi Eze, and we are right now 4 points better than last year. With Eberechi Eze. So we always could cope with the situation, and we will show, and it's up to us to show that we can cope with this situation again, losing Marc Guehi, and we will get somebody in, but every player who is here has our trust that he can help us winning games, and that's what everybody, and it's not a hope, because this is what everybody has shown. Of course, on the other side, you never want to lose your captain, but if these things happen, you have to cope with it, and that was really the mood at the training ground was absolutely okay.
There continues to be a lot of speculation around Jean-Philippe Nketiah. With the news that Marc is departing, does that make it even less likely that Nketiah leaves in this transfer window?
It's the same. There will be a price where Crystal Palace say, okay, 18 months left in his contract. We do the deal if JP wants, and if nobody pays this price, JP will stay.
Are you confident that this can still be a really special season for Crystal Palace, still well placed in Europe, and the league position isn't where you'd like it to be, but when you look at the table, a few results and you can put yourself right in contention to have a really good season?
Well, yes, absolutely. No, so now it's looking forward, as I mentioned, to the players coming back. So Jeff Lerma can play again tomorrow, and Danny Munoz had one session with us this week, so he will train with us next week and should be available against Chelsea. The same with Ismail Assar. This will give us more options again. We called back Danny Imre. He will be in the squad tomorrow, but right now the numbers of players is quite short. But we know the last couple of weeks, games, the results were completely what we didn't want them to be. But very often, and we're not talking about last game, but most of the other games, the performances were absolutely okay, and that we also could have won these games. And now it's, of course, when we need a few players back, this is what we just, let's see, and I had time to think about it, what happened in the last weeks. And then always when I get emotional, I go back and really just looking at facts. And then was an interesting also, when saying, okay, what's different to last season especially, and then which players were not available, and they were responsible for 70% of our goals, directly with goals and assists. They were not available, and we couldn't replace them in the way we wanted. So that it will be, that therefore it's important that they will come back, and then I'm pretty sure that we will play a very good season. Yes.
It was encouraging to see Chadi Riyad feature for some minutes the other day. Is he somebody who you feel could have an important role in the second half of this season? Yeah,
he's out for 1 year, and to be fair, he was on the way to Nottingham playing with the under-21s tonight, and we called him back. So he will be in the matchday squad tomorrow after 1 year. Sometimes things come quicker than expected, and he's now training with us. Had one full training week and 45 minutes, and did really well this week. So, could be.
And finally, from me, what impact, if any, will Marc being allowed to leave in this window have on what you decide to do at the end of the season with your contract?
Has zero impact, because my decision has already been taken months ago. I had a meeting with Steve in October, international break. We had dinner, very long talk, and I told him that I will not sign a new contract for Crystal Palace. We agreed at that time that it's the best to keep it between us, and I think this is how confidential we work together, that we could keep it between us for 3 months in the football times where we are in. I told the team today the same, because I think it's important to have clarity, and I don't want to have this question and the players and what's going on, and we had a very busy schedule, and we thought about, and again that's why we didn't want to tell it, because we want the same, Steve and me, we want the best for Crystal Palace. So Steve has no ego for himself, and Oliver Glasner has no ego for himself, what's best for him as a person. So we want the best for Crystal Palace, and we think now it's important to have clarity on both sides. I think this is what the players deserve. This, I think, is what every staff member deserves, and I think this is what our fans deserve, and that's why I tell it today.
Considering the amazing success you've had at Crystal Palace, why do you not want to continue your work here?
I told Steve, and I'm just looking for a new challenge, and it's my feeling after everything. And again, that's why I told him in October, so it's nothing to do with the transfer window, and it's nothing. So all these rumors, and I hate if something is written or told that's not true, and it was really tough for me not to respond. And so it's nothing to do. We have a great relationship, and we're really always talking what's the best for Crystal Palace. And the reason is just for me, I'm looking for a new challenge. I haven't spoken to any other club, to any other, no interest. And I told the players, and I promised them today that I will give my best to play the best ever season in Crystal Palace history, to break the points record of last season. So we are now 4 points better than last year we were at this stage of the season. And we will do everything to bring another trophy back to Selhurst Park. We got the draw today. We will play Mostar from Bosnia in the knockout stage, in the qualification round in the Conference League. I had a look at the tree, the bracket. Sorry, yeah, the bracket. So will be quite interesting. You know, can play Strasbourg, Alkmaar, Vallecano, Fiorentina. They're all in our line, and but we will do our best, every single one. Oliver Glasner has no chance to achieve this alone. No way, told the players. I think for the players alone it's tough, but together it's possible, and that's what I will do. Everything that we will bring another trophy to Selhurst, and again, playing the best Premier League season ever. So a lot to do.
This will be my final question, and I always really appreciate your honesty. You're always so honest with us in the media. Crystal Palace fans had that amazing day back in May, winning the FA Cup, but today is clearly going to be a very challenging day because their captain's departing. Now they know the head coach is going to depart in the summer. Should they be optimistic about the future of Crystal Palace moving forward?
Yes, absolutely, because great people are working for this club, and what I experience is that everybody wants the best for Crystal Palace, and that's for me is always, and everybody is aligned and giving his best. It doesn't mean that every decision is the right one, and it's the same for in the sports and everywhere. But I know that this club is in great hands. You say the same in English? Yeah. Where everybody wants the best for Palace, and yes, this is football, and I think not just today. You know, we sometimes see how, let's say, the best days, FA Cup final, and maybe the worst days since I'm here, Macclesfield, is within 6 months. That's what you have to deal in football, and that's sometimes really challenging for everyone, for every player, for every manager, for every chairman. But when you work together, and this is the same, and you know, it's in all the transfer activities, I'm 100% involved. We're always talking about, and that's what I was always mentioning. You know, it's my advice, and then it's about Crystal Palace' future, and I know this club will move forward definitely. And maybe today it doesn't feel like this, but I know behind the scenes everybody's working really hard to get the positivity back. And I think the best contribution we can do, the team, by winning tomorrow against Sunderland, and this is what we will try. Thank you. And sorry, and then after this, I won't answer any question about my future. So it's really, I want to say this. That's why I said, okay, clarity for everyone. But I'm Crystal Palace manager. I will always talk about Crystal Palace issues, but not about anything else.
Thank you, Jake.
Oliver, having said what you've said now about what you'll be doing at the end of the season, do you maybe feel a sense of relief that you've now been able to get it off your chest?
No, again, it's for me, and that's not just in our job, it's in our life, and it's in your family. You know, clarity is always the best. You know, if you don't know what's going on, and you always have rumors, you're always thinking, is it this or that, or what could be, just makes you insecure. And we need, you know, and with the negative runs of our results, we need positivity and not negativity, and therefore sometimes it's better to have and to move forward. And again, I spoke with Steve about it. I wanted maybe to announce it before the transfer window, that all these wrong rumors about the transfers will influence my decision, and to tell it before, but then we felt it's not the best moment. You know, with the signing of Brendan Johnson was a great signing for the club early in the window, and I'm pretty sure that Brendan will have a great impact the longer the season is going, and then it was with this tight schedule with our results. I didn't want to do it after winning 5 games in a row, because then maybe you lose one. Then I know what's responsible for this. So I felt it's quite a good moment, and also to get the turnaround to start winning again, because that's the most important thing. It's not Oliver Glasner's future. I think, yes, it's not Marc Guehi's future. It's that we start to win again. That's the best what we can do for Crystal Palace, and that's what we will. Everybody, I know them. Everybody will give his best that we get this turnaround tomorrow.
I just want to pick up on something you said before about how you've been going this season. You said when Michael Olise left, you got a record points, and since Beretchiez has left, you've done better than you were at this stage last season. What do you put that down to?
Well, many reasons. So first of all, it's the players. You know, with great players, with a great group of players, with fantastic characters. I think we have a very consistent structure, and I mentioned it after our great start into the season. So where Epps was part at the beginning, and then let's say he was replaced by Jeremy Pino, but everybody else was the same group of players, was the same team. Everybody knew and knows exactly what he has to do. This is consistency over months, and that's this consistency we lost in the last weeks, due to injuries, especially, and that's what we could see all of a sudden. And again, I always start with myself. You know, I made 7 changes at Macclesfield, and it was too much. It was the wrong decision I took, and it looks like if we have to replace 4 or 5 players at once, we lose our structure, and it's normal. We had no time to train. We had no time to integrate them. It's just not possible, and we really was thinking how we can do it better. But to be self-critical, I failed to integrate the new players in a better way, that they can replace them. We can, I think, always having 1 or 2 players in, that will keep our structure. And as soon as we have 4 or 5, and the last time it was the whole right side a few times, and then we see, okay, what we want to do out of possession, what we're asking the players to do in possession is not fluent. So and then the Premier League is too good. Then you get punished. And on the other side, when I see especially our Premier League games, most of our goals we conceded from set plays in the last games. So we were, even with these changes, we were very competitive, and that gives me a lot of confidence for the next, for the rest of the season. If these players come back, the new players are one step further, that we can be better than last year.
How did you lift the mood after the weekend?
After last weekend, first of all, leaving the players alone, and then you have these kind of days. Again, there is no excuse. It was a failure. It was my failure. It was everyone failed. Nothing to talk about it. And you have these days in your life. But to judge the team on this one day would be completely unfair. Because in the last and then I know we're in very quick times. Everything is we forget very quickly. But what this group is still the amount of points now, and we always get some reports, is the highest amount of points in the Premier League in the last 5 seasons. I don't know it before, but it's 4 points more. So we're in the knockout stage of the Conference League. We have played 34 games. No player experienced this in this short period. We won 2 trophies in the last 7 months. We had a points record. This is what this group did. Yes, we completely failed altogether, but, and this is what I told them, I know that everybody can play better. I know everybody can do better, and I know everybody will show it. And then we said, okay, now we use the time we have on the pitch again, and we had on Wednesday our first intense training session since the end of September when we played, or mid of September when we played Liverpool at home. For 4 months, the players were exhausted. They said, we never had these sessions for months now. And so we are now in the working mode. And they have shown, the players have shown that they can, again, cope with all these situations. Nobody was mourning when we sold Michael. Nobody was mourning when Epps left. Epps left before the away game at Fredrikstad. We got into the group stage. 3 days later, we went to Aston Villa, and we won 3-0 there. So I think this gives me confidence that this group of players are exceptional, good characters, with a great togetherness and spirit in the group, and this is what we can rely on right now. And everything else, the understanding on the pitch, the confidence is now to get it back with training, to get it back with performances, with results, of course.
Perhaps starting this weekend, how different a Sunderland side do you think you face this weekend as opposed to the last time in September?
Oh, it's similar. You know, of course, at home they have a quite a good home record. On the other side, as I mentioned, I think Villa has the best home record in Europe now. 33 games with 1 defeat. I know who was the one who could win at Villa Park. Sunderland has 10 games unbeaten at home, I think. 5 wins, 5 draws. So, yeah, we will go there to be the first one to win. Yeah, we have huge respect for their stadium, for their team, for their manager. You know, they're quite good investments, clear structure, good mixture of experienced players. You know, with Xhaka, with Alderete, with Ballard, with Mukiele, and that's many quick players, skillful, and yeah, will be, of course, it's like every Premier League game, will be a challenging game, but as I mentioned, we will do everything to get back on the winning track and turn the mood around Crystal Palace into positivity, and I think the biggest leverage we have.
Just one more on Sunderland, but with that record that they've got that you just mentioned and where they are in the table, surely it feels different going into this game. What you know almost more what you're up against as opposed to when you played them the last time.
I think if we win, we overtake them. So the table is really, the Premier League table is so tight. We've seen it. I think we were 4th or 5th, and now we're the bad run, and we are, I don't know exactly, 13 or whatever. And with 2 or 3 wins, we are straight in the top 8 again. And so that's why for us it's important to focus on the performances. And again, it's I think in total from our last 12 conceded goals, we conceded 11 from set plays. They scored 50% from set plays, so yeah, will be a challenge again. And it's then to take this challenge, yeah, accept it, and overcome. That's how we approach the game tomorrow.
Thank you.